Hi, are you Misty?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Will.
Nice to meet you.
I'm a therapist here at the clinic, and I'll be talking with you a little bit today and on a few things. So, what brings you in today?
I have like a little bit of substance abuse history, and I was sober for a while, and I've just been having a hard time lately, and have used it again. So I don't know. I was thinking I should probably get back in services.
Okay. Well, we can definitely talk about that today and kind of go through some stuff. Before we get started, I just want to go through a couple of things. First of all, you know, my role here today is going to be to talk to you and get some information, so we can do what we call an assessment to kind of gauge where you are and maybe see what kind of services might be beneficial to you. Additionally, I wanted to talk to you about and make you aware of confidentiality. You know, everything we talk about is confidential except for a couple of caveats. If there's anything talked about regarding any type of child abuse or neglect, then we would have to report that, and anything involving self-harm or anything, because obviously we have a duty to protect life, so we would have to report that. And if we were ever subpoenaed or anything by a court asking for records, then that might, but you would be made aware of that ahead of time.
Okay.
So do you have any questions on the confidentiality portion or what my role is here today?
No, I think I understand.
Okay, awesome. So what, can you kind of tell me a little bit about what substances you've used and where you're at?
So I had like an injury in my early 20s, like I had fallen, and so I was on opiates for a while, which then I had a hard time stopping taking them. And so I had like a pretty solid like 2-year use. And then I was stressed, and there was still like somewhere I was staying, and I took them, and so I'm not like taking them all the time, but I have been taking them more frequently, and I feel like I can tell that that's starting to become a problem again.
Okay.
But it's not my prescription, but I do have access to them.
Okay. How long was your how long ago was your accident?
It was probably, I think the accident was like 9 years ago, and then I was like struggling with use for about 2 years, like after I was supposed to quit taking it. And so, so then I've had, you know, I've been using again just like recently, so almost 7 years where I didn't use.
Okay. And you had mentioned that you had been getting stressed recently. Is there a significant event or something that may have happened?
Like I changed jobs, and so that's been like stressful. I had a recent breakup, and like, so I've had to move too. It's just been a lot of stuff going on, nothing big, and you know, COVID's been hard, so I don't really see people as much. And my job is mostly working remotely, so I just think, you know, the new job, like not seeing people, the breakup and the move, it's just been a lot of one time.
So what I'm hearing you say is that you've had quite a few life changes recently, from changing jobs to relationships and home. I mean, so it definitely sounds like you've had a lot of changes, and those can definitely be very stressful. So you said you've only been recently using again approximately 2 weeks, is that, or 2 months, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Okay. The place you're currently staying at, do they know that you've gotten into their prescription medication?
It was when I was staying, like with a relative until I found this place, and it was like one of their old prescriptions, so they don't know that, but I have it, but I really don't have access to more unless I go to buy it. So no, they don't know, but I'm currently like residing on my own now, so.
Well, I do want to take a moment to kind of look at the positives. You know, I think your being here today is a huge step in the right direction. You're acknowledging that, you know, you can feel that problem coming back again, and you're aware of that. What do you feel should be done with the remaining pills that you currently have? What would you like to do with those?
I'd like to get rid of them. I mean, I don't need to be taking them. So I don't know if I should like take them to like the drugstore or flush them, or like what I should do, but don't really think that I need to have them.
Okay. Well, I think that you have options, you know, on where you can dispose of them. I wouldn't recommend flushing them. That's not something that typically they recommend you do with medications. But you could take them to a pharmacy or sheriff's department or a place like that. Has a lot of those places, hospitals have where you can dispose of those medicines. Do you feel like that's something that you're ready to do, or?
I think if I go do it today, I'd probably do it. I'm worried if I like wait, then maybe I wouldn't, but.
Okay. That might be a good goal we could talk about then, and when we finish up today is, maybe a good short-term goal. First step would be to turn the remaining medication in. So, is that the only, issue that you've been having as far as use, is just those particular opioids, or has there been any other?
No, that's mostly what it's been. So, yeah, I mean, as far as substance use, yeah, that's what it's been.
Okay. So, with all these new stressors and things going on in your life, when you think back to the original usage when it started, did you have stressors going on besides the accident at that point in time?
Yeah, I mean, I had like, you know, I was in school and I was working, and the injury just was pretty bad, and I had to have like a couple different surgeries. So I mean, it was a lot. Like, was still trying to maintain school and stuff in my grades. So.
Okay. So looking at then compared to now, if we were going to put that on a scale of say 1 to 10, with 1 being, you know, no stress at all, and 10 being just the most stress you've ever felt, where would you have rated yourself at that point in time?
Probably an 8. The surgeries and the physical therapy were just a lot, you know.
Okay. And with your current situation and the current stressors, where would you rate yourself?
I mean, I would say probably now I feel like it's a 4, but it was probably a 6 or 7 when I started using recently, and then, so I think my stress is a little better now that I've got into, you know, like my own place, and then I've started getting settled in my job. But a couple months ago, if you asked me, I was quite a bit more stressed.
Okay. So you would have said originally maybe a 6, but now you feel like it's a 4 because some of the stresses went down.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you feel you would need to do in order to get the stress from say a 3 maybe down to a 2?
I think maybe just trying to find a way to, you know, be more social and spend time with people. I do feel like I've been very, you know, pretty isolated. Maybe getting, you know, like kind of more physically active because I am working from home. I feel like I used to like exercise a lot, and that would make me feel better, or at least get outdoors. But I've just, you know, been just sitting a lot of the day, mostly by myself. I think that just adds to, I don't know if it's just my stress or general like level of happiness. I don't know. I think those things would help. And then I think also just like maybe starting to get some help for this, because I am stressed out knowing I don't want to get to the point where I was using before. So, but I can definitely, like, I'm craving using, so I want to work on that.
Sure. And again, I just want to point out that that's a huge strength, that you're here today and acknowledging that and wanting to get a handle on it before it gets completely out of control again. So looking at kind of your friend circle, do you feel that you have a good supportive friend circle, the ones that you do have, or do you feel that it's very limited?
I do. I think they all have a lot going on, but because they all have like kids and, you know, stuff like that. So I mean, they have a lot going on, but they are good friends, and most of them are like friends I've had, like more recent friends that I've made since I've been sober. So it's not like people that I would use with or anything like that.
So you do have some good friends that they don't have a lot of extra time in. So I mean, is that kind of where the isolation comes in a bit, that you feel like you're just...
Yeah, and I mean, if I talk to them, they might have more time. I think I just kind of assume everybody's busy, and then maybe just don't reach out.
Okay. How is your you had mentioned that you're recently living on your own now. How's that going?
I'm still settling in. It's going okay. Like, you know, it's not my favorite place I've ever lived, but it's fine.
Is being there alone as opposed to having people in the house, is that a positive for you, or?
I like my alone time. I do. I miss being social, but I also like my alone time. So it's kind of nice. I didn't really enjoy living with someone else in the period of time I had to. I've been looking at possibly getting a pet. I think that might be, you know, helpful to have around the house, especially as I'm home enough now that I think I could have enough time for it. So I might look into that. But yeah, the new place is okay.
Good. Good. Yeah, pets can be very beneficial. A lot of people, get a lot of benefit and comfort out of having a pet. So, what type of pet would you be interested in?
I've only ever really had cats or dogs, so I don't. It's an apartment though, so I don't know what the yard situation for dog would be like the best option. I have to maybe look into it or like to look around.
Well, it sounds like you've got some good plans moving forward. What are some coping techniques that you've utilized in the past for kind of the use when you've had issues?
So, I mean, usually I will do things, like I like listening to music, I like cooking, I like drawing, those things help. I also just like being outdoors, so it's been kind of, like the weather's getting nicer, so I'm hoping that'll help. The winter, just isn't always the best and not having all the sunshine, but I like to do some different grounding techniques, and I utilize like the deep breathing, like the focus on my breath. But yeah, just even getting outside and going for a walk when I can is really helpful. And then if I could start working out again or like being more active, that usually helps too. But
so, kind of looking on that scale that we talked about again, how effective do you feel those particular coping techniques are working? Because you mentioned that you're starting to feel the craving again, and how are those coping techniques working?
I think I probably haven't been utilizing them enough, to be honest. I know them, and I just think that I probably haven't been utilizing them as much as I should, or when I should, I guess.
Is there anything that you feel needs to be done, or anything that would be helpful to help you think about using those, or remember to use those when the cravings come?
Honestly, even just talking to you about it now is helpful because I know I haven't been using them, but I really haven't been thinking about it that much or being that accountable to myself on it. And I have one friend that I think would understand that I might reach out to just for somebody to talk to about, because I don't really talk to people about my prior drug use almost ever outside of therapy, so some of my family knows, but I don't really talk to them about it. So maybe looping in somebody that I can just kind of vent to.
Okay. So your current friends and people you associate with, most of them don't know about the past then?
No.
Okay. And I'm assuming that's kind of how you want it to be for confidential purposes.
There's a couple people I could probably talk to, but I just, I don't really like telling people about it. It's kind of embarrassing, so I don't really usually tell people. But I do think I have a couple people I could talk to about it, and it would be okay.
Okay. Well, I do want you to know that you're certainly not alone. There are lots of people that struggle with this, exact thing daily. And I mean, probably from the past that, it's a lifelong struggle. It's not going to go away overnight. So I mean, just kind of keep that in mind, and knowing that you don't have to feel embarrassed or ashamed or anything like that. So is there anything else going on that you'd like to discuss today specifically?
No, I mean, not that I can think of. I think it's probably a good plan, get rid of the medication and, just talk to a few people. And maybe just preemptively doing some of the coping stuff to help with my, overall mood would be a good idea to start out with.
Okay. So, kind of in summary of everything today, because I wanna make sure that I heard everything correctly. You know, you've recently been struggling with the cravings and addictions again, but you've had a stint of sobriety for approximately 6 years or so. And you originally had a substance issue due to a prescription medication you'd gotten from a surgery. At this point, you have limited access to that medication and only some left. You feel that you've been taking that recently due to some stressors you've had involving home change, job change, relationship change, and you would feel that right now that you're probably about a 4 on the stress scale, but a couple weeks, months or so ago, you would have been about a 6. And that, you know, some coping techniques that kind of help you is getting outside, doing different activities, cooking, hanging or spending time with friends and family, music. Does that sound fairly accurate?
Yeah.
Is there anything that I missed that?
No, I think that pretty much sums that up.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you about today that I should have?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Okay. So then just kind of looking at goals, I know we had kind of identified a couple, so maybe we can put a couple of those goals down and then we can meet again and see if you were able to meet those goals and talk about those.
Yeah.
Okay, so goal number 1, we could say that you had mentioned that you feel like you should perhaps
Get rid of the medication.
So, would you like to set a goal that you'll seek an appropriate avenue to?
I'll probably do that as soon as I leave, because I think it'd be tempting to use if I don't do it.
Okay.
You know, so.
And do you have any other ability to get access to any additional medicines?
No, and it was like one of their old medications. Like I wouldn't take somebody's current medication, and I don't know where I would even get that now.
Okay. Have you ever talked to your doctor about these issues, your primary care doctor, to make them aware that?
No, I haven't. Because I have my primary care doctor I had when I had those issues retired. So I have a newer doctor the last few years. So no, I probably should, but I haven't.
How does that make you feel? The idea of having that conversation with your primary care physician?
I could probably do it. I don't talk to them very much, so I just really I don't know, like, I maybe need a different doctor. I just don't really enjoy talking to them. Not that I have to go and like have a friend at the doctor's office, but I like my old doctor a lot, and
It's a comfort
okay.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So another goal that we kind of discussed was maybe implementing some of your coping mechanisms that you had used in the past. Do you feel competent and comfortable to start using those, or?
I do. Like I went through treatment before. Like I do know what I need to do.
So if we were going to sit down and kind of create a plan together, how would you want to word that?
I think just that I'll start utilizing my coping skills, like primarily like my breathing techniques, like getting outside, listening to music, drawing. And I am gonna need to talk to a friend. I think I need somebody I can talk to, like if I'm having a hard time, so I'll probably do that in the near future.
Okay. And really, I think that would be 2 really good short-term goals. We don't want to overdo it and add to your stress or overwhelming you. So I think those are 2 really good goals to start, and then what we can do is touch base when we meet next time and kind of go through those and see how they worked out. And if we need to adjust, we can. Is there anything else that you would like to discuss with me today, or is there any other concerns or questions that you have about the process or therapy at all?
No, No, I appreciate you meeting with me today. Good start on the goals, I think, so.
Okay, well, Misty, I really appreciate you coming in and talking with me, and we'll plan to see each other in, we'll say 2 weeks, and we'll see how those goals went, and we'll reevaluate from there.
All right, I appreciate that.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.